The Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo's most fondly remembered system, bringing us classic after classic, not you, after classic. During this period, Nintendo was very experimental with their IPs, combining their classic characters with a twisted gameplay that would not have been possible with N64's limitations. This type of development led to one of the GameCube's flagship titles, Luigi's Mansion, the one-part Ghostbusters and one-part Nintendo combination, creating the first ever house cleaning simulator. Also, one of the few games that somehow was ported on the 3DS instead of the Nintendo Switch. I don't know, this kind of tracks with Nintendo. Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by to check out today's review, Luigi's Mansion. Help me with your support by giving this video a like and subscribing to my channel and checking out my other content. In the comments below, tell me what you think about this 2001 classic and what other GameCube games deserve a long-awaited sequel. Anyways, on to the video. Like any Mario character game, the plot is very simple. We find Luigi making his way in a dark and foreboding forest. Following the directions of a cartoonishly simple map, Luigi arrives at the entrance of what is clearly a haunted mansion. Luigi won this mansion in a contest and he never even entered it. Instead of throwing out the junk mail, Mario and Luigi decide to check out the property, with Mario going ahead of Luigi to see the mansion first. With Mario nowhere in sight, Luigi explores the dark mansion alone. Immediately, Luigi finds out that this is a trap and is being attacked by ghosts. Before the ghosts can capture him and take him away, an old man named Professor Egad comes to Luigi's rescue, trying to suck up the ghosts in his Poltergust 3000. The ghost evades capture, giving Luigi and Egad time to escape to his laboratory. Professor Egad explains that the ghosts stamped in his portraits have escaped and that they need to be recaptured in the mansion that appeared next to his lab only a few days ago. Now armed with the Poltergust 3000 and a flashlight, Luigi is now Egad's ghost hunter in training and catching the escaped ghosts one by one. And assuming that a spoiler alert is not needed, Luigi accidentally frees all the boos in the mansion, and turns out that King Boo is the one behind Mario's disappearance. As the GameCube's flagship title, Luigi's Mansion showcased the graphical prowess of the Nintendo's newest system at the time. Originally, this was a tech demo in Nintendo Space World 2000 and 2001. Luigi's Mansion demonstrated interactable environments that Luigi could affect with his vacuum cleaner, like shifting curtains, sucking up sheets, or posters, and shooting objects. Environmental elements were demonstrated in Luigi's Mansion as well, like showing off lighting effects, shadows, and jiggle physics. Just look at that majestic bouncy nose. As a 2001 video game on the GameCube, yeah, the graphics kinda show. Things like Luigi's face is pretty two-dimensional, the mansion textures lack some depth, and some sound bites are carried over from clearly the N64 days. Like, you can definitely tell Bowser's roar was just kinda ported over. And I'm not holding this against the game, I think it's just something that's more amusing and a little bit of a fun fact. But thanks to its more cartoonish art style, I'd say that Luigi's Mansion aged decently well, from its architecture, generic ghosts, and boss fights. This game runs at a steady 30 FPS at 480p with the progressive scan mode turned on. I ran at some minor frame dips, but were very minimal and did not hinder my experience in any ghost encounters. The combat in Luigi's Mansion is a simple premise. For many of the basic ghost enemies, you first stun them with Luigi's flashlight to expose their hearts. Once that's done, then you need to drain their health with the Poltergust. Some of the ghosts need to have a mask removed so then they can be blinded. Some of the basic ghosts are elemental variants and need to either be attacked with ice, water, or fire, very similar to rock, paper, and scissors. This works pretty well, and these elemental ghosts that you have to suck up to fill Luigi's gauge are usually nearby, so you aren't tracking from one side of the mansion to the next. For the tougher ghosts in the area, you need to use the Game Boy Horror to scan the bosses. This gives Luigi some dialogue from the mini-boss that can give you a hint to expose their weakness and stun them. After you clear out a room filled with ghosts, the lights turn on and a treasure appears that is filled with either money or a key to the next room. It's an extremely satisfying feeling as you look at your Game Boy Horror that shows which rooms you've essentially conquered. Boos that are hidden in these lit rooms need to be shaken out of furniture and need their health drained by the Poltergust. Each area has several mini-ghost bosses and ends with a big boss. Once you've cleared one area, Luigi goes back to Egad to watch the ghost be turned back into portraits and tally up the cash that you've collected in each area, which makes you want to explore each and every crevice of this mansion. The controls are a little clunky, Luigi turns pretty slow, and there's nothing you can do to speed this up, and it can be difficult to tell which direction Luigi is aiming. This can lead to frustrating moments when you're facing off against bosses where you need to shoot them so you can stun and drain their health. This can be especially frustrating when you're dealing with boos in the mansion. Normally, when you stun a ghost with a flashlight and use the Poltergust 3000, Luigi is locked on to that ghost for the most part. All you need to do is have the main control stick in the opposite direction of where the ghost is moving. This drains the health of the ghost faster, and it's pretty intuitive. With a boo, the aiming needs to be done manually while following that boo in the room. Most of the boos you come up against aren't too bad, with health ranging from 30, 50, and 100. But further into the mansion, a boo's health will jump up to 200 to even 300, and this can be a pain in the ass, since these boos will move from room to room and you have to follow them if you want to catch them. It especially sucks when the boos go in the hallway because 9 out of 10 times you aren't doing it at the right angle. Kidding me right now? There are 50 boos in total, and you need to catch a minimum of 45 to fight King Boo. I wouldn't bother collecting all 50. Even if you do catch all 50, there's no extra reward, and it doesn't weaken King Boo, it just kinda feels like padding. Despite some of Luigi's Mansion's shortcomings, it's still a really fun game to pick up every year. I love searching for money and treasure and systematically clearing out every room. It allows the player to feel a sense of accomplishment positively affecting the environment around Luigi. At first, Luigi's in a cold, dark mansion with locked doors, but the more you play, the more lights turn on and the place actually begins to feel homey, which is what I think Nintendo wanted players to feel. Despite this being rated E, Luigi's Mansion is successful in creating a very creepy environment. Entering a new room, it's dark and you hear ghosts grumbling in the background. The music is creepy from just exploring the mansion as well as entering certain rooms. Nintendo created images that stuck with me since I was 6 years old. That's pretty freaking scary when you're a little kid. It's an atmosphere that bounces between spooky and kid-appropriate, which I think Nintendo knocks out of the park. I think it even excels to this day, even against Luigi's Mansion 3. It has all of the staples of a creepy mansion, like a ballroom, a fortune teller room, an astrology room, and it even has its own graveyard because why not? And at the end of it, you can total all the cash you collected to see what kind of mansion Luigi can build. Oh my god, almost $54 million and that's all I can get? I really hate inflation. All said and done, Luigi's Mansion is only about 5 to 6 hours long. Yeah, it's a little short, but the mansion is only 5 floors and it's pretty linear. Catching some of the boos can be a pain, but since you don't need all 50 boos, it doesn't really ruin the pacing. I love the charm of the original Luigi's Mansion, and I think it accomplished the pressure of carrying the GameCube through its earliest days. You don't even play as Mario, he's more of a comedic side character that Luigi would be generally fulfilling. To launch a system without a Mario game, that's a pretty big gamble Nintendo took back in the early 2000s. Luigi's Mansion may not be perfect, but it did a lot with a great premise, setting, and gameplay that developed a strong fan base, getting not one, but 2 sequels. Getting out of the rut, many GameCube titles have not been able to escape. Now, with all of that in mind, I'm going to be giving Luigi's Mansion a 7 out of 10. If you stayed to the end of this video, consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Every little bit helps this small channel and me as a creator. If you didn't like the video, all I ask is that you tell me why, and I'll be sure to take your feedback to improve my content. Anyway, thank you all for sticking with me for this long. My name is BirKey, and see what is in my corner next time.